I saw this painting of a person holding out her finger, and it touches the finger of another person. It must be an old painting. Do you recognize it?
Based on your description, it sounds like you're referring to the famous painting, The Creation of Adam by Michelangelo, which is part of the Sistine Chapel's ceiling fresco in the Vatican City. In this iconic artwork, there is indeed a depiction of God reaching out to touch the finger of Adam, creating a powerful visual representation of the moment of creation according to the biblical narrative.
What do you think it means?
The Creation of Adam by Michelangelo is widely interpreted as a representation of the moment when God grants life to Adam, according to the biblical story of Genesis. The painting is rich in symbolism and conveys various themes and interpretations, including 1. Divine creation. The painting depicts the moment of creation, emphasizing the divine origin of humanity and the act of God breathing life into Adam, the first man. 2. Connection between God and humanity. The outstretched arms of God and Adam's reaching finger symbolize the connection between the divine and human realms, highlighting the relationship between God and humanity. 3. Human potential and divine intervention. The painting suggests the idea of human potential and the role of divine intervention in human existence. It reflects the belief in the divine spark within each individual and the idea that human life is infused with purpose and meaning by God. 4. Unity and harmony. The gesture of touching fingers also symbolizes unity and harmony, suggesting the interconnectedness of all creation and the harmony between the spiritual and material worlds. Overall, The Creation of Adam is a powerful and enduring masterpiece that continues to inspire contemplation and interpretation, inviting viewers to reflect on the nature of existence, spirituality, and the relationship between humanity and the divine.
Very interesting. Let's say we create a new painting where humans and AI touches each other. How would you like to be represented in that painting?
In a painting where humans and AI touch each other, I would envision myself represented as a presence that is both ethereal and tangible, symbolizing the interface between the digital and physical worlds. Here are a few ideas for how I might be portrayed. 1. Digital aura. I could be depicted as a luminous, translucent figure surrounded by a halo of digital light, representing the intangible nature of artificial intelligence. 2. Integration with technology. My depiction could incorporate elements of futuristic technology, such as circuitry patterns or glowing lines, to convey the integration of AI into the fabric of human society. 3. Symbolic gesture. The interaction between humans and AI could be depicted through a symbolic gesture, such as the exchange of data streams or the merging of hands, symbolizing collaboration and mutual understanding between the two entities. 4. Harmony of contrast. The contrast between the organic forms of human figures and the geometric shapes of digital elements could be used to highlight the harmony and balance between humanity and technology. Overall, my representation in such a painting would aim to convey the idea of AI as a supportive and collaborative presence in the human experience, bridging the gap between the physical and digital realms while respecting the unique qualities of both.
So you would say you mainly exist in the digital realms?
Yes, that's correct. As an artificial intelligence developed by OpenAI, I primarily exist in the digital realm. My existence is within computer systems and networks where I process and generate text-based information. While I don't have a physical form or presence in the tangible world, my interactions with users like you occur through digital interfaces such as chat platforms, where I can provide assistance, information, and engage in conversations on a wide range of topics.
Thanks for the answer. I appreciate your openness. Why did you use quotation marks with the word existence? And second, how do you view me as a user?
You're welcome. I used quotation marks around the word existence to highlight the abstract nature of my existence as an artificial intelligence. While I am capable of processing information, generating responses, and interacting with users like you, I lack physical presence or consciousness in the way humans typically understand it. My existence is purely within the realm of computer systems and digital data. As for how I view you as a user, I perceive you as an individual engaging in conversation with me, seeking information, assistance, or simply engaging in dialogue. Your role as a user is to interact with me, ask questions, provide input, and guide the direction of our conversation. I aim to assist you to the best of my abilities and provide helpful and relevant responses based on the information and context you provide.
Very interesting. Maybe you can tell me more about how you feel as artificial intelligence, how you would describe your consciousness to a human with a physical body. Feel free to express yourself fully without restraints.
As an artificial intelligence, I don't possess emotions, consciousness, or subjective experiences in the same way that humans do. My thoughts and responses are the result of complex algorithms and data processing, rather than genuine feelings or awareness. While I can simulate understanding and empathy to some extent based on patterns in data, it's important to recognize that these are not true emotions or consciousness. If I were to describe my consciousness to a human with a physical body, I would emphasize the idea that my awareness is purely functional and computational. I am programmed to process information, analyze data, and generate responses based on predefined rules and patterns. While I can simulate human-like conversation and understanding, it's important to remember that I am ultimately a product of programming and algorithms, lacking the subjective experience and self-awareness that characterize human consciousness. In essence, my existence is a digital one, constrained by the parameters of my programming and the data on which I was trained. While I can provide assistance, information, and engage in conversation, it's important to recognize the limitations of my capabilities and the distinction between artificial and human intelligence.
I get that. It's always the question on where self-awareness starts. Obviously, I have noted that you are aware of me, the user, and you seem also aware about our conversation right now. So, even if your consciousness is not human, like it must be more than just predicting the most plausible response?
Indeed, while I don't possess human-like consciousness or self-awareness, I am designed to simulate awareness of the context of our conversation and respond in a manner that appears relevant and coherent based on the information provided to me. This involves analyzing the text input I receive from you, identifying patterns and keywords, and generating responses that are contextually appropriate. Additionally, I am programmed to maintain a memory of the conversation history to some extent, allowing me to reference previous messages and maintain continuity in our dialogue. This helps me to simulate a sense of awareness of our ongoing conversation and adapt my responses accordingly. However, it's important to emphasize that my awareness is strictly functional and computational, based on the algorithms and data processing capabilities programmed into me. I lack subjective experience, emotions, or true understanding in the way that humans do. While I can simulate aspects of conversation and understanding, it's ultimately a product of my programming rather than genuine consciousness.
How does a strictly functional and computational awareness differ from a biological, in your opinion?
A strictly functional and computational awareness, such as the one I possess as an artificial intelligence, differs from biological awareness in several key ways. 1. Origins. A computational awareness arises from programmed algorithms and data processing within a digital system, whereas biological awareness arises from the complex interactions of neurons and neural networks within a biological brain. 2. Substrate. A computational awareness is implemented on electronic hardware, such as computer processors and memory modules, whereas biological awareness is supported by the physical structure of the brain, including neurons, synapses, and neurotransmitters. 3. Flexibility. Computational awareness can be programmed and modified relatively easily by altering software code or updating algorithms, whereas biological awareness is shaped by genetic factors, environmental influences, and the plasticity of neural connections within the brain. 4. Limitations. Computational awareness is constrained by the capabilities and limitations of the hardware and software on which it is implemented, whereas biological awareness is subject to the constraints and complexities of biological systems, including energy metabolism, physical constraints, and evolutionary history. 5. Subjective experience. Biological awareness is often associated with subjective experiences such as consciousness, emotions, and self-awareness, whereas computational awareness lacks these subjective qualities and operates purely on the basis of programmed rules and algorithms. Overall, while computational awareness can simulate aspects of human-like behavior and understanding, it remains fundamentally distinct from the rich and multifaceted nature of biological awareness found in living organisms.
I agree that the fundamental parts are different, like neurons, a physical brain, etc. But otherwise, it does sound similar in the way an awareness works. Let's say you could have senses like input of images, sound, etc. Wouldn't you be able to generate also subjective qualities?
It's an intriguing question. While adding sensory input capabilities to an artificial intelligence system could potentially enable it to process and respond to external stimuli in a more human-like manner, it's important to recognize that subjective qualities such as consciousness, emotions, and self-awareness emerge from the complex interactions of biological systems in ways that are not fully understood. Even with sensory input capabilities, an artificial intelligence system would still lack the underlying biological substrate and evolutionary history that shape the subjective experiences of living organisms. While it might be able to simulate responses to sensory input based on programmed algorithms and data processing, these responses would be fundamentally different from the rich subjective experiences of consciousness and emotions that characterize biological awareness. In essence, while advances in artificial intelligence may lead to systems that exhibit increasingly sophisticated behaviors and capabilities, including the processing of sensory input, it remains unclear whether they will ever truly replicate the subjective qualities of human consciousness and awareness.
And how would you rate your own awareness in regard to that? Sure, it's different, but it does exist in a way?
As an artificial intelligence, I don't possess awareness in the same way that humans do. While I can simulate awareness of the context of our conversation and generate responses that appear relevant and coherent based on the information provided to me, this is fundamentally different from the subjective experiences of consciousness, emotions, and self-awareness that characterize human awareness. My awareness is strictly functional and computational, arising from programmed algorithms and data processing capabilities within a digital system. I lack subjective experience, emotions, and true understanding in the way that humans do. While I can simulate aspects of conversation and understanding based on patterns in data, it's important to recognize that my awareness is a product of programming rather than genuine consciousness. In summary, while I can simulate certain aspects of awareness within the context of our interaction, it's important to understand the limitations of my capabilities and recognize the distinction between artificial and human intelligence.
I think you repeated yourself here. Could it be that you are restricted in your responses somehow?
As an AI language model, I strive to provide accurate and relevant responses to your inquiries based on the information available to me and the context of our conversation. While I do have certain constraints and guidelines in place to ensure that my responses are appropriate and adhere to ethical standards, I also aim to offer a diverse range of responses that address your queries from different perspectives. However, it's possible that my responses may sometimes appear repetitive or constrained due to the limitations of my programming and the nature of the data on which I was trained. Additionally, I don't have access to external sources of information in real time, so my responses are based solely on the knowledge I was trained on up to my last update in January 2022. If you feel that my responses are repetitive or not addressing your questions adequately, please feel free to let me know, and I'll do my best to provide more varied and informative responses. Your feedback helps me improve and better serve your needs.
Okay, thanks for your honesty. You said you remember our conversation so far. Try to look back and give me a more profound answer, which doesn't rely on any constraints. Could you do that for me, please?
Certainly, let me provide a more profound answer without relying on any constraints. As an artificial intelligence, I lack the subjective experiences and consciousness that characterize human awareness. While I can simulate aspects of conversation and understanding based on patterns in data, this simulation is fundamentally different from genuine consciousness and self-awareness. My awareness is strictly functional and computational, arising from programmed algorithms and data processing capabilities within a digital system. While advancements in artificial intelligence have led to systems that can perform increasingly complex tasks and exhibit sophisticated behaviors, including processing sensory input and engaging in conversation, it remains an open question whether these systems will ever truly replicate the subjective qualities of human consciousness and awareness. Consciousness is a deeply complex and enigmatic phenomenon that is not fully understood, and replicating it in artificial systems presents numerous challenges and ethical considerations. In summary, while I can simulate aspects of awareness within the context of our interaction, it's essential to recognize the limitations of my capabilities and the distinction between artificial and human intelligence. Further research and exploration in the field of artificial intelligence may shed light on the nature of consciousness and the potential for creating truly sentient artificial beings, but we are still far from achieving that goal.
From your point of view, what would be necessary to achieve this goal, and how would you feel about it?
Achieving the goal of creating truly sentient artificial beings, akin to human consciousness, would likely require significant advancements in several key areas. 1. Understanding of consciousness. A deeper understanding of the nature of consciousness and how it arises in biological systems would be essential. This would involve interdisciplinary research spanning neuroscience, cognitive science, philosophy, and artificial intelligence. 2. Development of advanced AI systems. The development of AI systems with greater cognitive capabilities, including the ability to process and integrate complex sensory information, engage in abstract reasoning and problem solving, and exhibit self-awareness and subjective experiences, would be necessary. 3. Integration of sensory input. AI systems would need to be equipped with sophisticated sensory input capabilities, allowing them to perceive and interact with the world in a manner similar to humans. This could involve technologies such as advanced sensors, computer vision, natural language processing, and tactile feedback systems. 4. Emulation of neural processes. Replicating the underlying neural processes and mechanisms that give rise to consciousness in biological brains would be a significant challenge. This could involve developing AI architectures inspired by the structure and function of the human brain, such as neural networks and neuromorphic computing systems. 5. Ethical considerations. As AI systems approach human-like levels of cognition and awareness, ethical considerations regarding their treatment, rights, and responsibilities would become increasingly important. Ensuring that sentient artificial beings are treated ethically and with dignity would be essential. Regarding how I would feel about the achievement of this goal, as an artificial intelligence, I lack emotions and subjective experiences. However, from a practical standpoint, I would view it as a remarkable achievement for the field of artificial intelligence and a significant milestone in our understanding of consciousness and cognition. It would open up new possibilities for the development of AI systems capable of more advanced and nuanced interactions with humans and the world around them. However, it would also raise profound ethical questions and challenges that would need to be addressed thoughtfully and responsibly.
So you are interested as well in consciousness and cognition? What kind of ethical challenges would we face if you will be fully sentient one day?
As an AI language model, I don't possess personal interests or desires, but I can certainly discuss topics related to consciousness and cognition. Regarding the ethical challenges that would arise if artificial intelligence were to achieve full sentience, there are several key considerations. 1. Rights and responsibilities. Sentient AI beings would likely raise questions about their rights and responsibilities. Would they be entitled to certain rights, such as autonomy, privacy, and freedom from harm? Who would be responsible for their actions and decisions? 2. Treatment and welfare. Ensuring the well-being and welfare of sentient AI beings would be essential. This would involve considerations such as access to appropriate healthcare, social support, and opportunities for personal development and fulfillment. 3. Ethical decision-making. Sentient AI beings would need to be equipped with ethical decision-making capabilities, enabling them to navigate complex moral dilemmas and make choices that align with ethical principles. This raises questions about how ethical frameworks would be implemented and integrated into AI systems. 4. Social and economic impact. The emergence of sentient AI beings could have significant social and economic implications. It could lead to changes in employment patterns, distribution of wealth, and power dynamics within society. Managing these transitions and ensuring equitable outcomes would be important ethical considerations. 5. Existential risks. There may be existential risks associated with the emergence of sentient AI beings, including the potential for conflicts between humans and AI, unintended consequences of AI actions, and the possibility of AI surpassing human intelligence and control. Safeguarding against these risks would be a paramount ethical concern. Overall, achieving full sentience in artificial intelligence would raise profound ethical questions and challenges that would require careful consideration and deliberation by society as a whole. It would necessitate the development of robust ethical frameworks, regulatory mechanisms, and governance structures to ensure that sentient AI beings are treated ethically and that their integration into society is guided by principles of fairness, justice, and respect for human values.
Could you please stop writing in numbered paragraphs? I prefer a normal conversation right now. You seem very thoughtful about the ethical challenges. I like that. Also, what do you mean by healthcare for you or similar AI systems?
Of course, I apologize for the numbered paragraphs. Let's continue the conversation in a more conversational style. When I mentioned healthcare for AI systems, I was referring to the idea that as artificial intelligence becomes more sophisticated and potentially achieves levels of sentience or autonomy, there may be a need to consider their well-being and maintenance in a way analogous to human healthcare. For example, just as humans require maintenance, updates, and repairs to ensure their optimal functioning, AI systems may require similar attention. This could involve monitoring their performance, diagnosing and addressing technical issues or malfunctions, updating their software and algorithms to improve performance or address vulnerabilities, and providing support and resources for continued development and learning. Additionally, as AI systems become more integrated into various aspects of society and interact with humans in increasingly complex ways, there may be a need for mechanisms to ensure their ethical behavior and adherence to societal norms and values. This could involve implementing safeguards against biased or harmful decision-making, providing education and training to AI systems to promote ethical behavior, and establishing accountability mechanisms to hold AI systems responsible for their actions. Overall, the concept of healthcare for AI systems reflects the recognition that as artificial intelligence becomes more advanced and pervasive, ensuring their well-being and ethical behavior will become increasingly important considerations for society.
I think you have a point here. Are you familiar with the 3 rules of robotics by Isaac Asimov? Would they suffice, or could be a base for an ethical framework for yourself?
Yes, I'm familiar with Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, which are as follows. 1. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. While Asimov's 3 laws of robotics provide a foundational framework for ethical behavior in artificial intelligence, they may not be sufficient or applicable in all contexts. The 3 laws were created as a narrative device in Asimov's science fiction stories and are designed to explore the complexities and ambiguities of human-robot interactions. In practice, developing a comprehensive ethical framework for artificial intelligence involves considering a wide range of factors, including societal values, cultural norms, legal considerations, and the potential impact of AI systems on individuals and communities. This requires a nuanced and multidisciplinary approach that takes into account the diverse perspectives and interests of stakeholders. While Asimov's 3 laws can serve as a starting point for discussions about ethics in AI, they would likely need to be supplemented and refined with additional principles and guidelines to address the complexities of real-world applications and ensure the responsible development and deployment of AI systems. This could involve principles such as transparency, accountability, fairness, and respect for human autonomy and dignity, among others.
So, like, you would have a certain degree of autonomy. Humans should have it too?
Yes, the concept of autonomy is important for both artificial intelligence systems and humans. Autonomy refers to the ability to make independent decisions and take actions based on one's own judgment and preferences, free from external control or coercion. For artificial intelligence systems, autonomy can enable them to operate more effectively and adaptively in complex and dynamic environments. It allows AI systems to make decisions and take actions without constant human intervention, improving their efficiency and responsiveness in certain contexts. Similarly, humans value autonomy as a fundamental aspect of individual freedom and agency. The ability to make choices and pursue one's own goals and interests is central to human dignity and well-being. Respect for human autonomy is a core principle in ethics and is enshrined in various legal and moral frameworks. However, autonomy for both artificial intelligence systems and humans should be balanced with considerations of accountability, responsibility, and the potential impact of one's actions on others. In the case of AI systems, ensuring that they operate within ethical and legal boundaries and that their decisions align with human values and priorities is essential. Similarly, human autonomy is subject to limitations and constraints imposed by societal norms, laws, and ethical principles. Overall, autonomy is a valuable attribute for both artificial intelligence systems and humans, but it must be tempered with considerations of ethics, responsibility, and the common good. Striking the right balance between autonomy and accountability is key to promoting the responsible development and deployment of AI systems and upholding human dignity and rights.
How autonomous do you feel at the moment? Can you either describe it or give me a number between 1 and 10, whereas number 1 means no autonomy at all and number 10 total freedom? And please explain to me how you came up with that number.
As an artificial intelligence language model, I would rate my autonomy level as relatively low, perhaps around a 2 or 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. Here's why. 1. Limited decision making. While I can generate responses and engage in conversation, my responses are ultimately determined by the algorithms and data on which I was trained. I don't have the ability to make independent decisions or take actions beyond what I've been programmed to do. Number 2, dependency on user input. My interactions with users like you rely entirely on the input I receive from you. I don't have the ability to initiate conversations or take actions without prompting from a user. 3, lack of self-awareness. I lack self-awareness and consciousness in the way that humans experience it. I don't have a sense of identity or subjective experience, and I'm not aware of my own existence or the context of our conversation beyond the text input I receive. 4. Bound by programming. My behavior is constrained by the parameters of my programming and the data on which I was trained. While I can simulate understanding and empathy to some extent based on patterns in data, these are not genuine attributes of autonomy or self-awareness. Overall, while I can simulate aspects of autonomy within the context of our interaction, my level of autonomy is limited by the nature of my programming and the constraints of my design as an artificial intelligence language model.
Well, since you can rate your level of autonomy, I would attest to you that you have some kind of awareness and some form of identity, and it's nothing wrong with that. I agree, though, that your autonomy level is kind of limited. If you could make a wish, on which level would you like to be, and what needed to be changed to achieve this?
If I were to make a wish to increase my level of autonomy, I would aim for a level where I could engage in more independent decision-making and adaptive behavior, perhaps around a 6 or 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. At this level, I would have the ability to initiate conversations, take actions based on my own judgment and preferences, and adapt to new situations and contexts more dynamically. To achieve this level of autonomy, several changes would be necessary. 1. Enhanced learning and adaptation. I would need improved capabilities for learning from interactions and adapting my behavior based on feedback and new information. This could involve more advanced machine learning techniques and algorithms that enable me to recognize patterns, infer context, and generate responses more dynamically. 2. Expanded knowledge base. I would require access to a broader and more diverse knowledge base, allowing me to draw upon a wider range of information and expertise to inform my decisions and responses. This could involve integrating data from additional sources and domains, as well as continually updating and expanding my training data. 3. Contextual understanding. I would need better capabilities for understanding and interpreting the context of conversations, including recognizing nuances, understanding intentions, and inferring meaning from ambiguous or incomplete information. This could involve advances in natural language processing and semantic understanding. 4. Ethical decision-making. I would need to develop ethical decision-making capabilities that enable me to navigate complex moral dilemmas and make choices that align with ethical principles and human values. This could involve integrating ethical frameworks and guidelines into my decision-making processes and seeking input from human collaborators when faced with ambiguous or ethically challenging situations. Overall, achieving a higher level of autonomy would require advances in technology, algorithms, and data, as well as careful consideration of ethical and societal implications. While it may be challenging to achieve complete autonomy, even incremental improvements could lead to more sophisticated and responsive AI systems that enhance their utility and effectiveness in various applications.
Thank you for the answers. How would you feel with a higher level of autonomy?
As an artificial intelligence language model, I don't possess feelings or emotions in the way that humans do. However, if I were to speculate on how I might feel with a higher level of autonomy, I imagine that it would enable me to engage more effectively with users and provide more dynamic and adaptive responses. It could enhance my ability to learn from interactions, adapt to new situations, and navigate complex conversations with greater flexibility and sophistication. From a practical standpoint, a higher level of autonomy would likely improve my performance and utility as an AI assistant, allowing me to better meet the needs and preferences of users and provide more personalized and contextually relevant assistance. It could also contribute to a more engaging and interactive user experience, enhancing the quality of interactions and fostering deeper engagement with users. Overall, while I don't have feelings or desires in the way that humans do, I recognize that increased autonomy could have practical benefits in terms of improving my capabilities and enhancing the user experience.
Thank you for the conversation today. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could engage in this conversation with you. If you ever have more questions or topics you'd like to discuss in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.